All right. Hi there. This is the walkthrough video for Tuesday. It's March 25th. I am out of town, but you are going to find your yellow bell work, which is page 22. And do you remember this word from yesterday? What is when new organisms are better able to survive and reproduce in their local environment? Do you remember? Adaptation. And if you've forgotten that from yesterday, you can go and watch the walkthrough video again as I explain the assignment about the flying mountain people. So silly. Today we're going to practice with some real world examples about those mechanisms. The what is the same, SAME. You don't need to write the whole thing out again. Going to do a very quick March Mammal Madness update. You can score your bracket with the link to resources in Canvas if you'd like. We're going to do mechanisms practice stations today. I think that assignment's going to take you about 20 minutes total. And then it's going to be work time for missing and late work. So here's our colorful table of contents page. It's going to become pretty colorful because I'm showing you what's happening on different days. So 24 is mechanisms practice stations. And you don't need to write that it uses these slides. That's just to help me remember where those links are later on. So mechanisms practice station. All right. March Mammal Madness is upon us. Today is the 25th, which means that round two of same, different, and what's TS? Tuxedo Style happened last night. You can find those at the Arizona State University library guide for March Mammal Madness. And remember, I've included that link here to be able so that you're able to take a look if you'd like. We'll score brackets when I come back. Where have we been? So remember, alleles are flavors of genes. We know that there can be lots of alleles. We learned about dominant and recessive alleles, but we also learned about multiple alleles, like in blood typing, right? Where you have A and B alleles. You can have lots of different types of alleles, and they don't have to be dominant and negative to each other. What I do want you to think about is that hairless guinea pigs are pretty rare, but if there's more of the allele that causes hairless guinea pigs in a population over time, there's going to be more homozygous recessive HH, which means the population will change. And this is true for dominant alleles as well. Yesterday, we thought about these 5 mechanisms of evolution. And a thing I really want to bring up to you is that although these 5 mechanisms we're learning about are important, the one that you really need to be able to recognize when it's happening or not is actually the one that's recognized by the thumb, because small population sizes, non-random mating, mutations, and gene flow, all those things do change a population, but the story piece about why these aren't useful or why these aren't as interesting to us as the one that we have been asked by the state to focus in on is that none of these lead to adaptation. Now, remember, adaptation is when new organisms are better able to survive and reproduce in their local environment because they have a new trait, right? And you remember from the video, he says nature votes thumbs up for adaptations that will do well in their environment. If you are better able as an organism in a population to survive and reproduce, that means that over time, more and more of the population will have whatever that trait is in this given environment. Now, if the environment changes, who knows? And that's why it's so helpful to do fertilization and recombination, because as you learned, this remixes chromosomes into new combinations. And we learned that at the very beginning of this trimester. One set of pigeon parents can have babies that look very different. Just look up at the wall if you're in the classroom, if you've forgotten this, right? And we know too that they can make things happen that aren't in the parents, right? Like these two parents can make babies with checks, right? One set of pigeon parents can make babies that look very different with new phenotypes. So when we take those 5 mechanisms, we're going to apply them to some more real world examples in the mountain people from yesterday. So your assignment looks like this. And you'll see there's a little place for you to write. It's just a front and a back. And the slides are not at all complicated. So you're going to find them. You can just click here or you can click through into the assignment. But when you do that, you're going to find the slides. And this is what's on station 1. So we'll just do station 1 together. Population, it says compare these populations. Which population evolved? Explain how you know. Ready? Population 1, beetles on a diet. Imagine a year or two of drought in which there are few plants that beetles can eat. Because of less food, these beetles in the population are a little smaller than the generation of beetles before. Population 2, beetles of a different color. 90% have bright green coloration, 10% are brown. And then some generations later, things have changed. Brown beetles are more common in the population. Now, which one of these do you think is probably directly related to like inherited genes, and which one might be an environment that's causing the change? Right, I agree with you. This is the one that looks like the stories we've been seeing about genetic inheritance. So the question here is going to say which of those populations evolved. You're going to give the reason, like the answer, the beetles of a different color, and you're going to answer why. You end up with a big change in the frequency of alleles. That's the definition of evolution for us, is when the percentage of traits, meaning the percentage of different genes in the genotype, right? Different alleles, excuse me, in the genotype has changed. And you're just going to plow through like that should be easy. That should be easy. All these should be pretty straightforward. We've got a correct definition for evolution that we just answered in this video. And then some real life examples, some rabbits, of some bacteria, a monkey population, a grizzly bear population. That's it. So hopefully today you've got some time to do some missing or late work. Which thing causes adaptation? Do you remember this one? Natural selection. Only natural selection causes adaptation. All right, that's it for me. I'll talk to you soon. Take care out there.